What's up, everybody? How we doing? Doing great? Must have been that workout you had. All right, should we get started? So today we are going to talk about how to count macros and a step-by-step guide on how to do it. Does everybody know what macros are, first off? Macros is short for macronutrients, obviously. So if you don't know, they're kind of, macronutrients are the essential nutrients that pretty much make up everything that you eat. Protein, carbs, fats. Yep. So, to begin, what are macronutrients? In order to successfully count macronutrients, it's important to know what they are and why some people need different macronutrient ratios than others. So first, we're going to go over carbohydrates. Each macronutrient is usually broken down to, there's many different types of each one. So carbohydrates, they include sugars, starches, and fibers. Most types of carbs get broken down into glucose or blood sugar, which your body either uses for immediate energy or stores as glycogen. The storage form of glucose in your liver and muscles. So when you work out, your muscle uses glycogen. So you can deplete your muscles' glycogen, which after you're done working out, you need to refill. And usually simple sugars is the best way to do that. That's your body's source of energy. Carbs provide 4 calories per gram and typically make up the largest portion of people's caloric intake. Carb intake is among the most hotly debated of all macronutrient recommendations, but major health organizations suggest consuming 45 to 65% of your daily calories from carbs. Carbs are found in foods like grains, starchy vegetables, beans, dairy products, and fruits. Now, fats have the most calories of all macronutrients, providing 9 calories per gram. So if you were to look on a nutrition label and you add up all the grams of everything, that will equal the serving size of the calories up top. A lot of people don't know that fats have 9 calories, carbs have 4 calories, and protein has 4 calories. So your body needs fat for energy and critical functions such as hormone production, nutrient absorption, and body temperature maintenance. So fats aren't bad. Though typical macronutrient recommendations for fats range from 20 to 35% of total calories, many people find success following a diet higher in fat. And that's where you get keto. Or before, it used to be Atkins. Fats are found in foods like oils, butter, avocado, nuts, meat, and fatty fish. Keto, Barb, yeah. If you want to know more about keto, there's a blog on it on my website. But that's a whole nother discussion. Proteins. Like carbs, proteins provide 4 calories per gram. Proteins are vital for processes like cell signaling, immune function, and the building of tissues, hormones, and enzymes. It's recommended that proteins comprise 10 to 35% of your total calorie intake. However, protein recommendations vary depending on body composition goals, age, health, and more. Examples of protein-rich foods include eggs, poultry, fish, tofu, and lentils. Now, how do you count them? So when people talk about counting macronutrients, usually they're talking about some sort of diet. That you can basically break down your diet into different percentages. And so, like typically, it would be like a 20, 40, 40, or like a 10, 10, 50, 30, something like that. Those aren't even real, but So first, you need to figure out your calorie needs. All right. In order to calculate your overall calorie needs, you need to determine resting energy expenditure and non-resting energy expenditure, or REE or NREE. REE refers to the number of calories a person burns at rest, while NREE indicates calories burned during activity and digestion. Adding REE and NREE gives you the total number of calories burned in a day, also known as total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. In order to determine your overall calorie needs, you can either use a simple online calculator or the Mifflin-St. Jeor equation. So for men, calories a day equals 10 times your weight in kilograms plus 6.25 times your height in centimeters minus 5 times your age in years plus 5. Did everyone get that? So for women, I don't know if you want to write this down. It equals calories. So your calories per day equals 10 times your weight in kilograms. If you don't know what a kilogram is, a kilogram is 2.2 pounds. Plus 6.25 times your height in centimeters minus 5 times your age in years minus 161. Do you want me to type it out for you? Do you want me to type it out for you guys? I can do that. Maybe I'll copy and paste it. See if I can do this. Check it out. I don't know why there's a thumb in there. Everybody got that? You can just copy and paste it somewhere. By the way, I just saw on the camera, it might look like I have something in my teeth, but that's just the green screen's kind of messing up a little bit when I smile. My teeth are so white that it's not showing up. Anyways, all right. All right, so after you do that, there's still more math, so bear with me here. So after you do that equation, then multiply your result by an activity factor, a number that represents different levels of activity. So as soon as you get that equation up top, if you're sedentary, which means limited exercise, you want to times that by 1.2. If you're lightly active, which qualifies less than 3 days per week, you want to times what you got up top, the total of what you got up top, by 1.375. I'll copy and paste this afterwards too. If you're moderately active, you want to times the total by 1.55. That's moderate exercise. If you're very active, times it by 1.725. And if you're extra active, times it by 1.9. Okay? Now I'll copy and paste that again too. Boom. So the end result gives you your TDEE. Calories can either be added or subtracted from your total expenditure in order to reach different goals. In other words, those trying to lose weight should consume fewer calories than they expend, while those looking to gain muscle mass should increase calories. It's not as easy as that. There's a lot of different factors involved for losing weight and gaining muscle and stuff like that. It's not as easy as just a caloric deficit or anything like that. There's more that kind of goes into it. But once again, that's a different discussion. So you need to decide your ideal macronutrient breakdown. After determining how many calories to consume each day, the next step is to decide what macronutrient ratio works best for you. So, typical macronutrient recommendations are as follows. Carbs should make up 45 to 65% of total calories. It's okay, Adrian. You're free to join anytime. Fats make up 20 to 35% of total calories. And proteins make up 10 to 35% of total calories. Now, I would recommend you want your proteins definitely more on the higher side. Because protein's what fills you up, that and fiber. So, keep that in mind. And also, fiber is a carb. So, just be mindful of the type of carbs that you put into your body. So keep in mind that these recommendations may not fit your specific needs. Your ratio can be fine-tuned in order to achieve a specific objective. For example, a person who wants to obtain better blood sugar control and lose excess body fat may excel on a meal plan consisting of 35% carbs, 30% fat, and 35% protein. Someone pursuing a ketogenic diet would need much more fat and fewer carbs, while an endurance athlete may need higher carb intake. So keep in mind what your goals are. As you can see, the macronutrient ratios can vary depending on dietary preferences, weight loss goals, and other factors. The next really important step when it comes to weight loss is structure, such as tracking your macros and calorie intakes. Sometimes you don't know how much food you're eating and the calories you're putting into your body until you write it down and really figure it out. So if you're really looking to lose weight, yes, it takes extra work, but it's really something that needs to be done. So the term tracking macros simply means logging the foods you eat on a website, app, or food journal. In addition, a digital food scale may help you track your macros, though it isn't necessary. If you invest in one, weigh each food item you eat before logging it into your app of choice. Several apps feature a barcode scanner, which is very helpful. You can also handwrite macros into a physical journal. And just keep in mind, it's not necessary to hit your macros exactly, but you want to be relatively close. So here's an example of how to calculate macronutrients for a 2,000 calorie diet consisting of 40% carbs, 30% protein, and 30% fat. So carbs at 4 calories per gram, 40% of 2,000 calories equals 800 calories of carbs a day. So total grams of carbs allowed per day equals 800 divided by 4, and that equals 200 grams. So with proteins at 4 calories per gram, so you're doing 30% of your diet with protein. So 30% of 2,000 calories equals 600 calories. 600 divided by 4 equals 150 grams of protein. And then fats, so you're doing 30%, same thing, 600 divided by 9 because of it's 9 calories per gram equals 67 grams. So what are the benefits of counting macros? Counting macros can focus your attention on food quality rather than calorie content. For example, a bowl of sugary cereal may have a similar number of calories as a bowl of oats topped with berries and pumpkin seeds. But these meals vary widely in macronutrient content. So I like to ask people, what exactly makes something nutritious? It's a very short answer. I mean, you can go into a huge discussion about it, but long story short, something is healthy and nutritious when you just have to look at the nutrient to caloric ratio. So something that's considered healthy has tons of nutrients for not many calories. It's healthy. And something that's unhealthy, it's the other way around. So think about that. Counting macros may lead you to choose healthier, nutrient-dense food in order to fulfill set macronutrient ranges. However, unhealthy foods may still fit into your macros and calories, so it's important to make healthy food a priority. It also may promote weight loss. Counting macros may be particularly effective for weight loss because it sets out specific dietary recommendations. For instance, tracking macros can help those following high-protein, low-carb diets, which are linked to weight loss. Plus, research shows that tracking food intake may aid long-term weight maintenance. And that's just because you're more conscious about it. So it also may assist you with specific goals. Anyone looking to build muscle mass, you just need more protein. But I don't think anyone here is looking for that. So how to meet your needs? What foods have what? Depending on macronutrient ranges, those counting macros may need to add or reduce foods rich in carbohydrates, fats, or proteins. For example, someone transitioning to a macronutrient range of 40% carbs, 35% fat, and 25% protein may need to replace some of their carb with a source of healthy fats and protein. The following are examples of healthy foods for each macronutrient. All right, so for carbs, you have grains, including oats, brown rice, and quinoa. Whole wheat pasta, whole grain bread, starchy vegetables such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, and winter squash. I wouldn't necessarily say that potatoes are healthy. Sweet potatoes, on the other hand, are packed with nutrients, so they tend to be okay. Fruits like berries, bananas, pineapple, and apples. Once again, that's a different discussion. Beans, lentils, and peas. Milk and yogurt. Once again, milk and yogurt. Sorry, I went out there. Once again, milk and yogurt, that's debatable. Milk, there tends to be a lot of sugar in yogurt. It depends on what type. Proteins, egg whites, meats, poultry, fish, shellfish, tofu, milk and yogurt, no. Protein powders. Fats, egg yolks, oils, butter, nuts and nut butter, coconut oil, avocado, flaxseed and chia seeds, fatty fish like salmon and sardines. So counting macronutrients isn't for everybody. People who thrive on structure may find that counting macros is ideal for their health goals, and I agree. If you're having trouble losing weight, this is something you need to try, because it means you need structure. You're not losing weight for a reason. I mean, unless you have you know, unless you're sick or have some sort of, there are exceptions. Counting macros can increase your awareness of the quality and amount of food you are consuming. Plus, it may be a good tool for those following ketogenic diets, blah, blah, blah. That said, counting macros isn't for everybody because macro counting puts so much emphasis on tracking calories and logging intake. Anyone with a history of eating disorders should steer clear of counting macros. Focusing on food intake this intently could even lead to disordered eating patterns and all that stuff. Another thing to keep in mind is that it's also possible to eat poorly while engaging in macro counting because it permits all foods. As long as the item fits into the set macronutrient range, which is true. What happens is, if you're eating unhealthy, you can still hit that macronutrient range. You're just going to be hungry all the time, and then that's not something you're going to stick with, and you still might not lose weight because of the type of macros you're putting into your body. So, to sum up this whole article, when first counting macros, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. However, following the steps above can streamline the process and set you up for success, which I completely agree with. When it comes to losing a lot of weight, you need structure. Once again, structure and accountability. That's kind of where training comes in. But if you're not ready for training or anything like that, this is a great way to get started. The most important steps in counting macros are setting a calorie goal and a macronutrient range for carbs, protein, and fat that works best for you. Log your food intake and aim to stay within your macros by eating a diet rich in fresh produce, healthy fats, complex carbs, and protein sources. And before you know it, counting macros will feel natural. So, anybody have any questions? That was a great article. Once again, if you're having trouble with weight loss, stuff like that, this is a great way to get started. There's tons of blogs on my website if you want to check it out. Yeah, you can see it right here, up top, right above my head. There's blogs, stuff like that, on all topics that I feel are very important. Yeah, and that should be about it. No questions, anybody? Now's the time. You can also email me, message me. Even if I'm not working with you, you can ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help. It's kind of why I do this, to help. You don't have to be paying me. All right, if there's no questions, thanks for everybody that came. And the next webcam is going to be Monday at 9:30 again. I'll post a topic in a couple of days. If you haven't joined the 30-day challenge yet, now's the time. Go to my page and you can find out what it is. All right, guys. Thank you.